I realized the MMORPG games always comes with two different perspectives of the player who enjoys the game or the players who always find any negative feedback and judging if the MMORPG is kind of the worst game that they have ever played. But of course they have their own reason why they would like to say it. From the Play Store feedback on the App Store feedback, we can easily notice it. Through this video, we'll get the whole reason why, so make sure you watch until the end. Remember to like this video and help us to get 200 likes, thanks. Top 10 MMORPG you must avoid if you are a free-to-play player for Android and iOS. You can support this channel and send us a special thanks. Black Desert Mobile. Black Desert Mobile. This is one of the used to be an amazing MMORPG before, but now they try to make a new features which we should play within the seasonal characters. I don't know if the developer wants to make it become a fair MMO, but actually this concept will ruin your times of grinding the items, gathering the materials, crafting the equipment, which these all things will spend by a lot of time. In fact, we can boost the hero by banner that respawn when we just playing the game, which we should use the cast to raise our progress in multiple times. These actions makes the effect of strength between the players will have a huge gap between the free-to-play player and also pay-to-win players. Try to measure how strong your hero is in the PvP duel. Then you will realize what I was concerned about. These all are the only reason why Black Desert Mobile becomes the worst MMORPG for mobile. But of course we will tell you the positive things is the developer is really active in updating the game continuously. Even the character classes becomes the most job selections variety on any MMO right now. Honestly, I was surprised with the players that is always coming up to play it, and you can see from this game's video how many players that are really active in the beginning of towns. Black Desert Mobiles is an MMORPG you need to avoid. The Legend of Neverland. The Legend of Neverland. I remember how this game is getting viral as the Genshin Impact game slug in a light version, because it used to be a very smooth game and able to play in a low end points, but right now this game becomes an MMORPG that you should avoid. It's not because it's a pay to win or no pay to win MMORPG, but the game performance is really heavy to play and it will make our pawns getting heater, especially when you try adjusting the game setting into mid graphic. It seems to feel the same, but I will appreciate the developer to always update the game into a better visual, but still a game's experience is the main point that we can enjoy the game after all. Even the size is quite small, which is 2.7GB, but the game's performance is unstable. The developer should find the answer why it's happening and solve it as fast as they can to create a comfortable performance. At the beginning, we can select two different modes, which are No Auto MMORPG, which will play manually and follow through the pathfinding directions manually as the players who love to play an adventure, or just play an auto mode to navigate everything automatically. I love the combat mechanism, it's pretty good with a great flashy color skill. That's the reason why Legend of Neverland is the MMORPG you must avoid. Immortal of Divine Domain. Immortal of Divine Domain. It's a pretty generic MMORPG that everyone will feel the same game's experience with the other Chinese MMO. Seriously, I even don't find any differences between them at all. The gameplay is fully an autoplay. Even when you leave the screen in a few seconds, the game will get an initiative to move your hero in auto mode. Such a crazy idea by the developers. It totally feels like I'm watching the whole gameplay without touching any screen. The gameplay of Immortal of Divine Domain is most of the combat will be available to play after we enter the portal, which means it's not fully an open world games because we don't have any freedom to hunt the monster in the open world. In fact, I love how the flying features it has. We can do a higher jump 4 times in the sky and it will save our time a lot in exploring the beautiful world of it. In fact, the game size is really small. It's about 785MB, which is less than 1GB, and I'm sure every player can enjoy the graphic in a maximum setting. Ruffian MU. Rufian Mu MMORPG Ragnarok. This game celebrating the 5 years of MU game that exists on mobile and become one of the best game series that made for low end phones. The first impression I play of it, I feel like the players who has a higher level will easily identify by looking at his aura. The higher his combat power, then the bigger aura of armor they will have. No wonder by one players it's enough to cover the entire screen. Besides, if they right amount with a legendary grade, the character seems pretty strong. The gameplay of Rufian MU is I cannot freely hunt the monster because most of the area will be guarded by a boss monster. They will active on attacking us when we are in their radius area. So we cannot play the auto at all, we should get the monster by manually. Each time we level up, then we can place the attribute status based on the character's build we want to be. On the Play Store, this MMORPG has a higher score of 4.9 stars, which is a nearly perfect review by the players. But of course, it has a VIP base and it's full of autoplay at all. Do you want to play this game? Please write in the comments below. Flame of Valhalla. Flame of Valhalla. This is a new MMORPG game that shows me how the ads work perfectly on any platforms, because the developer really pushed the game in a great marketing way. That's why this game has downloaded over 100,000 players in a few days. But actually the ads do not represent the actual gameplay. It seems the developer is using the Odin Valhalla Rising gameplay or the other MMORPG with a realistic graphic. But after we play, then we will realize the gameplay and the ads are way different at all. If you watch this video, you will see the bots coming up frequently while they were in the city and suddenly they all are disappear. This is why this game becomes an MMORPG you must avoid. The gameplay of Flame of Valhalla is we can learn a new skill when we reach a certain level and stronger skill will be unlocked then. We cannot aim and drag the skill, so it will aim the enemy within the closest range. Most of the monster will stand in a massive number, so by one skill we can hit a lot of enemies within range. This game is releasing the server too fast. Albion Global. Albion Global. On any content, I always suggest this game as the best MMORPG games for mobile. But on this list, I would like to make a negative feedback to criticize and make the game become better, and also the developer can develop this game becomes better. Because as we all know, this game is one of the most hardcore MMORPG for mobile. Especially if we want to compete between the other players, we need to trade our time to grind the materials and hunt the monster, rather than spending any money to buy the equipment on the shop. This game will boost a lot of strength when we use the cast power to increase the hero's power. It will affect the main war battle. When we die, some of our stuff will be lost, and this thing will be a great challenge to the newbie. But the main reason why this game becomes a MMORPG you should avoid is because the community of the world message is really open and often they are always angry and using weird words. The game's developer should make a word standard by doing any sensor to make a positive circle between the community. But overall, I would like to play Albion Global because it's really worth playing MMORPG for Android and iOS. The World of Magic. The World of Magic Emo. I know this MMORPG is one of the longest games that has been released on global, but the number of the bots play is too massive. Even the bots number is way bigger than number of the players active, which make the game is pretty difficult to get the area to do a grinding. As a newbie players, I'm sure you will have a hard time for grinding the special items, especially when we are wanting to hunt the mini bosses or the bosses, because every single spot will be conquered by the players with a higher level, which our damage cannot stand against them, and we will don't have any chance to get the items. Then mostly the player with a higher level will sell the items with the highest price, which is unbelievable. It's kind of a hardcore game. Seriously, when you face the players from the other factions, they will kill us without any mercy. Then they will become the only players who can defeat the boss at all. As a low level players, it's pretty difficult condition to improve, which my solution is the developer should make a range level which we cannot hit by the other players if the gaps level is way too big. That's the reason why the World of Magic Emo becomes one of the worst MMORPG you must not play, but overall I love that the new graphic version is way better with more sharpening. Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal. This game is absolutely phenomenal. Before the game launched, the game has a lot of pro and contra between the veteran players of Diablo game. As we all know, the game was very popular on PC, but now the developer is aggressively wanting to port the game into mobile, and it makes a huge maneuver and high succession on mobile platforms. No wonder the game has been downloaded over 10 million players. Actually, we can play the game with a great games experience, because if you only want to enjoy the storyline, then you can become a free-to-play player, but when you decide to push yourself into a top global players in PvP duels in ranks, then you need to become a play-to-play players then, so it's up to you to select your own goals. But before you download the games, you must be ready for the game's total size is really big. It's about 18 GB in total, but the ragdoll physics of the environment when they get the effect seems pretty realistic. Mir M. Mir M, this game is absolutely fantastic. I love how the game has really good graphics such as the mobile MMORPG. The first impression will blow your mind since you started playing the game, but after I saw the player review, it suddenly turned into a different point of view, which most of the player had a struggle on navigating the control. After I tried the game, it seems the gameplay is way too clunky. There is no action combat, the character only does one movement while doing a basic attack. Even I didn't find any dodge button and also jump button. Seriously, the game has a very few features as well. There is no trade system between the players, and we can invite the other players in a duel, which is the PvP is not available also. But overall, I will admit, if the developer successfully keeps their server within a less number, this thing will increase the players' loyalty. I really hope the developer turns the camera perspective into 360 degrees so we can see the whole area and look at the character closer. M. M. I remember the glory of MMORPG on PC, but this game seems to have a reduction from the game's quality, and the developer seems to not really care about the players' issues they face while playing the M. The basic thing that we always find out about it is the bugs of the hero cannot move, and sometimes when we hit the monster, the number does not show up on the screen while the enemy is attacked and successfully land on us. The gameplay needs more balance and fairness, especially when we hunt the monster. We always need a lot of potions to recover our HP. The main problem is the potion prices are so high. It will make the players broke in a short period of time. The connection sometimes becomes so laggy, and I think these are all the reason why the player seems to avoid this game. In fact, SEAL Online was the most played MMORPG on PC. It should make the players coming back to play it while we play the game in a portable, which is on mobile. Sunhai New Rise. Bonus Sunhai New Rise. This is a new release MMORPG on mobile, but I didn't find any players playing this game on the screen. The game seems to be providing a certain bots to look busier. The world chat message seems so empty, and even I never know if this game will exist and it suddenly released globally. Please note what I will say. In a few weeks, this game will have a lot of server, and I don't recommend you all to play this game because it's focusing on VIP based MMORPG, which a lot of players will not enjoy playing it. Even the graphic is just so-so for a game with a higher size, which is 1.7 GB, but it's good to try. At least you can reach the top rank because not many players are playing it now. This all is the worst MMORPG game that I don't really recommend you to play, with so many reasons that I have mentioned on each game. So make sure you decide wisely about which game are you focusing on. But I have told you about the good point as well. Remember to like this video and help us to reach 200 likes. See you on the next video. Thanks.